Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A. We go over all the latest news that happened during the week of mobile and tech and answer your questions live. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comments section down below and I will answer it before the end of the show. Now, we have a lot of stuff going on this week, but I do want to give a special request today, and that is next week is Prime Day. So I'm going to be having just on top of every video my link for Amazon. And basically, if you are buying stuff on Prime Day, just if you use that link, it helps out the channel. It doesn't affect you in any way. It just basically, after clicking that link, it helps out the channel. So you'll be seeing that in a lot of videos this week. So just wanted to give that shout out. All right, now on to the big news of the week, and that is definitely the product release switch between the Galaxy X and the Galaxy S10. Now this is really big in my opinion. Overall, I really think this is a really interesting one. So with this, we do have the ability of CES being the biggest CES that it's been in years. Regardless, it looks like we're going to get a product launch, and it could be the Galaxy X itself, the first bendable smartphone that really could take the US at least by storm. Now, I say the first one because I don't think we're going to have one go to market or even presented to go to market till then. Now, this could be wrong. There could be a Chinese company that gets ahead of it and does it just kind of like the in-fingerprint display with Vivo. But I'd be very curious to see how it goes about. But basically what we're hearing now is that CES 2019 will actually be in January, which means the Galaxy X will be announced there. And the S10 will take its rightful place at the 10th anniversary at MWC. So really interested in what you guys think about this. I actually think this is more fitting, to be honest. I think this is more fitting that the experimental one is announced at CES when it's not really about mobile, and the S10 takes its grand stage at the mobile conference in the world. And yeah, I think it's a lot better. Let me know what you guys think though. It's kind of interesting though, because if the Galaxy X comes out before the S10, will people wait for the S10? Will sales be poor basically in the beginning? Or how will it play out? I think no matter what, you're going to see a confusion of sales because one is not going to be at the same time as the other. So people are going to wait until they see what the other has and then decide from there. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, the other big thing is more details on the 3 Galaxy S10s. So we are getting confirmation that the lowest tier model will not have a fingerprint scanner. It's going to have it on the side, kind of like Sony smartphones do, and how we've seen other smartphones have had in the past as well. So that's really nice. I actually really liked it on the Razer phone. The Razer phone, I really like the fingerprint sensor on the side. It felt natural. So I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think that's a good call. But the other ones will have it built into the display, which makes sense. And we are getting though that the even lowest tier model will have a dual camera, not a single camera, which was originally reported. So basically the Galaxy S10 Lite, if you want to call it, or Galaxy S10s or whatever it's going to be called, is going to be the lowest model, and that model will only have a dual camera and a side scanner, whereas the middle regular S10 is going to have a fingerprint display scanner and a dual camera, and the S10 Plus is going to have the fingerprint scanner on the display as well as a triple camera setup. And we also got more word about that triple camera setup being wide angle, so that's really cool. So this is a mock-up basically, and overall the big thing about it is that it is going to be a triple camera setup, and we're getting word that the flagship part of it will still basically be the same as this year's camera. So in terms of the main camera, it looks like it's going to take the same. It's going to get a low light bump up, as usually happens every year. But we're also going to get, and it's still going to have that ridiculous f1.5 aperture. But it looks like besides the second camera, which is going to be a 16 megapixel zoom camera at f1.9, we're also going to get a 12 megapixel one that is an extreme wide angle. So, and this has been tossed around in different things. So some people are saying that the wide angle one will actually be f1.9 at a zoom, or sorry, not the zoom, the wide angle version will be the 16 megapixel, and the zoom will be the 12. It's kind of how it currently is basically right now. It matches what we have now, but just adding a 16 megapixel wide angle. Overall, I'm still excited about this because I want the triple camera setup to be regular, zoom, and wide. However, please make the zoom at least 3x. I really think 2x just isn't enough. So 3x would be perfect. Hopefully we would get something like that. We've seen it in the Huawei Mate Huawei P20, so hopefully we would get something like that later. And then in other news, we are looking at the foldable or bendable battery now as well, coming in, of course, with the Galaxy X. And it looks like this one, at least as of right now, the first capacities we're seeing are only at 3,000. Now they have the ability to go up to 6,000, but as of right now, the models that are actually being produced are at the 3,000 level. So it looks like the Galaxy X could have a 3,000 milliamp battery, which is smaller than most. So I really, hopefully that isn't it. I do hope that maybe they can put two 3,000s and we get a 6,000 milliamp battery. And although that might seem like a huge, ridiculous battery, remember, the inside is going to be a 7-inch display, which is a tablet size, and a 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 milliamp battery isn't ridiculous for a battery that size. So hopefully we'll see what we get, but I am hoping that we get two 3,000 milliamp batteries in there, and that would make the price point well worth it, in my opinion, although we don't know what that price point is yet. But it's more reason to get it if it has a bigger battery than if it has a 3,000 milliamp battery. The battery life won't be that good. It'll kind of be like the first LTE phones. It'll be a great concept, but not that long of a battery life. All right, in other news, we did get confirmation that yes, the S Pen for the Galaxy S9 or Note 9 will be Bluetooth. So we do have now confirmation. It has passed through the FCC, that a Bluetooth S Pen has passed through the FCC. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. We are getting a Bluetooth S Pen this year, which is, again, really cool to see what the capabilities will be like. I think, again, the dock will be like, it'll have a pogo pin on the side and it will charge as soon as you put it in the silo of the Note 9, but we'll have to wait and see. And again, I need to start getting this information, don't I? I need to get all the confirmations now. I should start getting on that. All right. And we do have our first images leaking of the Galaxy Tab S4 as well. And yeah, it looks like an update of my currently Tab S3. I definitely want this tablet. I've already thought about selling my Tab S3, so we'll have to wait to see how that goes. But definitely, I just can't wait till we actually get a new tablet. It's been too long, to be honest, and my Tab S3 definitely shows its age, I would say now, so I just can't wait till we get a Tab S4 and I could definitely move up to that, as well as getting a 16:10 aspect ratio. I would like that a lot better than the 4:3 that I currently have. And then we also get some leaks about Apple as well. So the first one is that yes, for the iPad, it does look like it will have Face ID because in the developer options currently right now for iOS 12, someone did uncover this. So it does look like, yes, Face ID will be coming to the newest iPad that is released this year. Again, most people think that the new iPads will be released at the same time as the iPhone. I think they will be released before the holidays, but not at the same time. I think it's going to be a October, November launch, but we'll have to wait and see. And speaking of an iPhone and iPad, well, it looks like at least one iPhone this year is currently being tested with 4 gigs of RAM. Now, because of how everything looks, it does look like this is an iPhone, not an iPad, but that is really amazing because it would be the first iPhone with 4 gigs of RAM. So we'll have to wait and see how it really goes through its paces and see how much of a bump up this iPhone will get. And my guess is this will only be in the most expensive iPhone, an iPhone X Plus. But the question is, how much will that cost? Will that be over $1,000 starting price for an iPhone X Plus? I happen to think it will be. I happen to think it'll be 11 to 12 starting price. And then we get some teasers on the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3, and it does look like this one will take a playbook from Vivo and have a pop-up camera, so it's going to have a full display. And the Mi Mix is a really personal favorite of mine, just because it really started this whole bezel-less style before Samsung, before Apple did. They were really one of the front runners of really pushing the boundaries of the bezel design. So much so that we've already seen a leak of it, and it looks awesome. This one, it's all screen and very small bezel all the way around, including small chin. So that looks really good, and this is what the future of the phones are going to be. I'm very happy with it. I definitely can't wait to see how phones turn out in 2019, because this is what I expect all year in 2019. Getting away from the notch, getting away from that horrible trend, and going towards real bezel-less design. All right, now we do have 2 patents on different foldable phones, not from Samsung. So again, I said that I think Samsung will be the first wide consumer foldable phone, but man, is this really going into it. So first of all, we see one from LG, and it's literally just a foldable phone, kind of like a flip phone style. And this is what the rumor is on the Galaxy X, and what I have personally seen from a similar design from it. So overall, yes, it does look like they're just going for the foldable phone literally, which makes it more pocket friendly, but I just don't know how overall this will really be. It does have stereo speakers, so which is nice. We always love that. But it's really kind of curious to see how this whole concept would work out. It reminds me of like a, this clamshell part reminds me of like a Game Boy, Advance SP. So yeah, it's old school, but I don't know if it's appealing as much. So we'll have to wait and see. And then we have another one from Oppo. Now, again, very similar style design to it, but it's just getting that basically phone or tablet look on this one. So this is what I really want and what I see the future of a bendable phone looking like, having half of a phone, which is a pretty good screen size, and then opening it up to a full tablet screen size. That's what I'm really excited for, and that's what I really hope to see later next year and on. And finally, we are going to end on a bit of a sad note for the news at least portion of the show, and that is that, yes, unfortunately, HTC has let go of a lot of workers, 25% of its global headcount, so it is sucky, but I think it's just a matter of time. Like, when I said that Google bought HTC, I was saying that in hope of it. I knew, like, you know, HTC was still having its own autonomy, but I really think that buying a portion of them should turn into buying all of them, because HTC as a company as it stands has not done anything this year, and they continue to play catch up, and they're not going to sell anything in the numbers they need, anywhere near what they need, if they keep going the way they're going. So hopefully they'll turn it around. I don't think it'll be this year, but maybe next year. Alright guys, now let's get to your questions. Again, if you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and we will answer it before the end of the show. Alright, let's get started with your questions. Hi Rick, what's up? It's going good, thank you for helping me with my S7 Edge issue. When I got it wet in the pool, all is good. Going to take more underwater pics in the pool. Yeah, so Holiday came out with me with, he basically, you know, hey, I have this issue, my phone, the speaker sounded horrible after. it is a common thing with all waterproof smartphones. Your speaker generally sounds sucky in the beginning, and it's just because there's still water in there. So as long as you, I would play loud music, like bump it up all the way on your phone, and it kind of kicks the water out. But as soon as it's fully dry, it should be fine again. So just if you ever have that same scare, just know that you should be fine if you get your phone wet. How many Note 9 will you buy on release day? Do you buy any for family members? Yeah, so, well, I don't pay for them, but yes, I help them out, set the phones up and everything, of course. My wife, my brother, and my mom are all Note users and only Note users. So, whereas I upgrade to the S series and the Note series, I do 2 phones every year on my main line, not counting all of the other phones. But as my main line, personal line, yes, I do that with the S9 and Note 10. They will only get the Note every year. So basically when they go through cycle, they got the Note. They even went through the whole Note 7, had to jump back to Note 5s, all that kind of stuff. So they went through it all, but yeah. I'm getting a Note 9. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to really like it. Galaxy S10 5G compatible? I think so. I think the S10 has a shot of being the first 5G phone, or at least one of them. But I'm not 100% on that. Simply because although we don't hope it has the same issue, and we've been assured it won't, if the battery drain issue is anything like LTE, which again, it shouldn't be because of the nature of 5G, but if it is, there is a chance they might wait for the Note, but we'll have to wait and see. We know Apple isn't going to have 5G next year. It looks like they are not going with Intel, although it goes back and forth. It just seems they haven't been happy with Intel, and Intel hasn't performed as nicely, and yet they're, with all the issues that are having Qualcomm, they're not going to go with Qualcomm. So I almost guarantee Apple will not have 5G next year, which isn't, anything new. Apple didn't have LTE years after Android had it. So years after Android had it. I think they're going to be 1 year behind. I think next year you're going to see a lot of Androids have 5G. Apple will not have it. And then Apple will have 5G in 2020, I believe. But we'll have to wait and see if I'm right. But that's how I see it kind of going at this point. Did you like Ant-Man? Yeah, I really did like Ant-Man. Check out the review if you haven't seen it. It's a non-spoiler review. But yeah, I really did like Ant-Man. It was definitely fun. I saw it with my friend, my wife, and a little girl. And yeah, the original Ant-Man was one of her top 5 favorite MCU movies, so she loved it. Should I get an S10 Plus or wait for the Note 10? That's always a tricky subject. I mean, if you want the S10 Plus, get it. But yeah, the Note will typically pretty much always be better. So I'll have to wait and see. And we'll have to wait and see what the Note 9 comes out with really overall, because what is the Note 9 going to do that makes the Note more desirable than the standard S series this time around? I don't like the S line is making 3 variants of the S10, but then again, I think it's good because they have to cut down on phones and focus on 3 to push out updates a lot faster. I agree with that statement, actually. And my main thing with Samsung doing it, they need a good mid-range phone, especially in the US. You have the A series and other smartphones in other parts of the world, but it's not really advertised or really sold in the US unless you get an unlocked version of like an A8 or A6 or any of those. So overall, I think they need a strong mid-ranger to compete with like the iPhone SE category, or what we're gonna get, the iPhone 9. But overall, I do think that, yeah, they're going to need something better. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions just loaded. Everyone drink. Galaxy X gadget is, Galaxy X novelty gadget, in my opinion. That's a really strong opinion, and I really do believe that in some ways it will be. I think it's going to be a test product, really. And again, Samsung has done this before with the first Galaxy Note Edge, and even the Galaxy Note itself. These were test concepts. They were like, we're gonna make a huge phone and with a stylus. See who buys it. People loved it. We're gonna make an edge off this phone, and we're gonna charge anywhere from $800 to $1,000 with a contract. With a contract. And it sold. So yes, there is going to be very little sales comparing to their regular sales. The S10 will far outsell the Galaxy X. The Note will far outsell the Galaxy X. But if Samsung sees enough people get the Galaxy X, you can bet that the second iteration of it will be absolutely amazing in my opinion. And I think it really will be something special. And again, wouldn't it be great to have a phone you really can't break? And that's the dream, because again, if you get rid of the glass, that's the first thing that breaks in smartphones. So if you have a plastic film instead of glass from now on, that would be perfect. Has Samsung ditched the Mini and Mega series for their phones? If so, why? Because they didn't sell well in the US. The Mini was seen as really a horrible thing in the US. They tried again actually with a different phone called the Alpha, and that was again supposed to be their mid-range phone. Didn't do that well either. It only sold in AT&T, to be fair. And then yeah, the Mega series didn't do as well. It did actually really well in a lower tier market, Metro PCS. The Megas did really well there. It was just because people wanted bigger screen phones in that carrier. But yeah, they never continued on with the series. I think it's honestly because the Mega, I think, was a 6.3 inch, and look, we're getting, we're getting screens way bigger. I'm trying to remember what the second Mega screen size was, but the first Mega was 6.3, and yeah, it's amazing how big we're already there now. We're already at 6 inches now with a lot of these smartphones in 6.2, 6.3. So I just don't see it as a need for the Mega now. You're really getting a tablet at that point. Thoughts on the Google console? I'll have to wait till we get closer to October when it is actually released for the Google console. But I don't know how it's going to turn out. It's funny because Google Console is also what they call the Play Store, or Google Console is also what they call their developer market. Like if you're a developer and you're creating an app, it's called Google Console as well. But yeah, so that's differences. 3x zoom would be sweet spot for phones. Yes, I agree. Thoughts on Apple being the first manufacturer to use 7 nanometer process? I think it's going to be interesting, really. I really think it's going to be interesting to see how well or if any issues come out of that processor. Because anytime we get smaller, you see, ridiculous benchmarks in comparison to everything else. But you also have the chance of something going wrong. So it's interesting to see it. I think I remember when Tegra, this was way back when Android was first starting, but when Tegra went smaller with their first processor, and it had so many issues with theirs, NVIDIA, basically, when NVIDIA was challenging Qualcomm, if you can remember those days. But yeah, it can have issues, but we'll have to wait and see. Apple definitely probably quality controlled a lot of it, but I'm very interested to see if it will have any negative ramifications. I wish Samsung would put a crazy big battery. That's all I want. I know, especially because we're seeing smartphones now get 5,000 plus milliamp batteries in China. I just, wish. What smartwatch in 2018 are you excited for? I'm definitely excited for the next Samsung one. I really am, and I'm excited for the Pixel Watch. I really want to see Google do something with Android Wear. Because honestly, it's felt like the neglected, stepchild of Android, and yeah, I forgot it's Wear OS, not even Android Wear. So yeah, I wanted to see them do something with it to make it actually worth it. Because in my opinion, as an OS in terms of navigation, usage, and everything like that, the Galaxy Watches are way better than Apple Watch, than Fitbit, than Android Wear. When it comes to apps, it's a whole different thing. Apple pretty much kills it, followed by Wear OS. But in terms of operating it, I would take the Galaxy Watch any day of the week. Not to say they can't be improved. Let's see. Hi Ricky, the TCL55 cut the cord giveaway. I just got email confirmation that I won. Congratulations, that is awesome. 55-inch TV, that's awesome. And that one comes with Roku built into it, I believe, too. So that's really cool as a OS kind of thing. Your work. I think bezels are small enough already. I hate the notch. I think everyone pretty much does. We have gotten plenty of responses on that. I'm so disappointed in Android copying the design of iPhone and gestures like software. Is everyone following the leader? I'm going to switch to Apple. I would say, yeah, I can completely understand that train of thought. It's why I like that Samsung didn't go that route. I believe that's why we will not see the notch on the next LG phone as well. I really think like people are going away from the notch. I will say that the OnePlus definitely has done the best job of a notch phone of really making me forget about the notch. But it's still just, yeah, it's still like you said, it's more of just disappointing every time you see a notch on a smartphone, just because why? Let's see. Will 2019 iPhone have 5 nanometer? I don't believe so. I know there's rumors right now, but no, I don't believe so. I wish you'd get the invite for Samsung events so we can get great coverage for the Note 9. Have they invited you yet? No, I've not gotten any invite from Samsung yet. Again, I mean, it'll be great if they do it, but I'm not like, oh, they're definitely doing it. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Bring on the real phablets. Yeah, I know, right? This is definitely going to be the age of real phablets as we get less and less bezels. With the S Pen for the Note 9 will be Bluetooth 5.0. You know, it just said Bluetooth LE, which just means low energy, but that can mean Bluetooth 4.2 or 5.0. So we do not have confirmation of it being Bluetooth 5.0 or not. Bluetooth S Pen is interesting, but not game-changing unless developers make good use of the software. I hope we do see some developers really step up into that. And again, it would behoove them to do it just because if you're a developer for Android, you should be developing mainly for Samsung because that's the top seller. How do you feel about Samsung message issue? What's your alternative? I don't really care for Android message that much. That is the one I use. I also did use Pulse for a little while. I did like that one. But ever since Android Message got the web update, which if you didn't know, if you use Android Messages, you can actually text message from your computer just with Android Message Web now. As long as you're in the same Wi-Fi, you text message and it goes through. So yeah, I really am a fan of it. And that is the future of it because RCS is getting better and better. It's having some snafus right now with the whole Samsung Messenger. But hopefully they'll fix that by the Note. We'll have to wait and see though. Ricky, hope your eyes feel better. Yes, they do. Will Samsung play the color game? Samsung's always played the color game, and they will continue. Yeah, you know, you're gonna get probably 2 Note 9s at launch. You'll probably get a 3rd Note 9 towards the holidays. And yeah, that's just how it goes, unfortunately. And there'll be probably 4 to 5 Note 9 colors, but we're only going to get 2 in the US, maybe 3. And yeah, they're going to play the color game. Any idea when the new Icon X will come out? I have heard that they will come out with the tablets, if not with the Note 9. Basically, it'll come out in the fall. Do you think it would be worth upgrading to the Note 9 from the S9 Plus? I have a Note 8, but didn't use the S Pen at all. So I can't answer that till I get all the details on the Note 9, which I will get this month, so stay tuned. So does that mean you're getting a Note for your YouTube Tech Kid? Hint, hint. No, I'm not. You know, she is perfectly fine with an emergency smartphone, and it's really just so I can track her. You know, if anything were to, God forbid, if anything were to happen. But yeah, I don't believe in, you know, 7-year-old necessarily needing a high-end smartphone, no. Moto G5 Plus is perfectly fine. When using a OTG, that's a USB dongle for your smartphone, with what is the largest size USB thumb drive it can be used? And can a hard drive be used? Yes and yes. So yeah, a hard drive can fully be used as well. I was able to connect even like a portable hard drive, which gets its power from the phone then, or from whatever you're plugging it into. So yeah, I've used terabyte drives before via USB. I mean, granted, this was a long time ago. This was like in the S3 days when I first got an OTG cable and I was trying to plug everything into it, and it worked fine. You can do a keyboard and mouse, so you can do whatever you want. Hey Ricky, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Where Samsung going to make dual SIM Note 9s mainstream instead of the central versions? Is Quick Charge 4.4 plus reality on the Note 9? I doubt it. I don't know why Samsung is just lagging on the Qualcomm Quick Charge update. I don't know if it's a thing between them and Qualcomm that they just don't want to pay for the newer version of it. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, they keep lagging on that. Dual SIM you're not going to really see in the US because carriers don't want it. If it's a TV OS, it would be a joke. I'm not sure what you're referring to with that. That Google console is DOA if they're just going to piggyback and stream off of the same pool games as Shield 2 is using IMO-HO. So it's curious to see how Google do it. I would say Google has a good chance because of their implementations with servers. I really do think if they do it, they will do it all their own. I don't think they're going to piggyback off anyone else. I really think they're going to do it all their own. But we'll have to wait and see. Google's server technology, though, is second to none. So they have the ability to create really servers that can support perfect streaming kind of gaming quality with zero lag. But we'll have to wait and see how much money they actually invest in it. The problem with Google, more so, I would say, is are they going to really invest in it? Or are they just going to, we'll put some money into it, see how it goes. If it does well, then we'll invest more, kind of thing. So yeah. Let's see. Will you ever upload to Instagram TV? It's a great platform to get noticed on Instagram. Probably not. At least not at this point. It's just too much resources to try to do on a whole vertical level. But yeah, so I would say probably not, to be honest. It's just, my Instagram following is abysmal compared to my YouTube following. So it would really be starting all over again. And again, recording an entirely different format that, in my opinion, is just not worth it at this point. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But no, not at this point. Please explain the difference between camera zoom and smartphone zoom. Okay, first let me go to what I think you more mean, although I think you would know this because, again, you've been very knowledgeable in the past. So, first of all, there is digital zoom and optical zoom. So, when, you can pinch zoom on your camera screen up to 8x, right? That's all digital zoom. All that is doing is stretching out your image, which is why it looks pixelated and it's a mess. It's horrible. Digital zoom is just literally stretching out your image, which you can always do in post. Like, there is no benefit to doing digital zoom except it saves you cropping. That's it. Optical zoom. So the 2x you get on smartphones right now, the 3x you get on the Huawei P20 is optical zoom. So optical zoom is real zoom, basically. And originally how you achieved it was zooming between two lenses. Basically a lens would go further apart. That's how you do it on a traditional camera. However, how you do it on a smartphone camera is literally just switching the lens. So the second lens is already zoomed in basically permanently. So when you switch to that one, it just changes to that camera, and then it's already zoomed in. Now, the secondary lens is generally never as good as the primary lens in smartphone cameras, just because they feel that it's not as necessary. I would argue with them greatly on that, and we have seen some differences. Like Samsung has really upgraded their zoom camera more and more so, which I really commend, and hopefully we would see more and more of that. But yeah, so optical zoom is way better than digital zoom, which is why I want a 3x zoom, so you really have zoomed in and you have regular. I don't really need the in-between part. I feel like 2x is never enough, and I usually end up zooming in to like 2.8 or 3 or 3.2 always when I want to zoom in. That's what I zoom in, and unfortunately at that point I'm getting digital zoom as well, so it doesn't look as good. Apple will come out with micro LED screens first, kill Samsung's OLED. Who do you think is making the micro LED? Samsung. Like, do you think there's another production company that's ahead of micro LED on Samsung? No. Samsung is already making micro LED TVs this year. Like, I mean, I don't know why you would think that. Yes, Apple is investing in this technology, but they don't have factories. Foxconn is still in the infancy stage of building factories, and they're nowhere near building panels anywhere near what LG, Sharp, everyone else that Apple has making screens for them. Samsung is still going to supply Apple. You realize Samsung has supplied Apple with LCDs, OLEDs, and will supply them with micro LEDs. Like, almost every screen on an Apple product has been Samsung throughout the years. Samsung has always tried to basically, Apple's like, hey, no, we're going to have LG make our screens. We're going to have Sony make our screens. We're going to have Sharp make our screens. They cannot produce as many screens as needed, ever. There's never been an Apple product that has gotten away from Samsung screens. It's never happened. They've produced less, but it's never happened. That includes your MacBooks, by the way, too. Let's go. I'm looking to switch to T-Mobile for service and waiting for the Note 9. Will there be a buy one, get one deals immediately upon release? I don't know about that. Honestly, it's been a hit or miss. They had no deals with the Note 8, I want to say, at launch. I think it was like 2 weeks or 3 weeks in when they finally got the BOGO. So yeah. I'm excited for the iPhone X Plus. It's crazy. iPhone will have a bigger screen than the Note 6.5 or 6.4. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see that big of an iPhone, but it's just gonna be interesting to see this big of phones. I mean, we're already at 6.3, so it's not that big of a difference, but it's just a really interesting how big we're getting with having the same footprint because we're pushing the bezels further and further away. However, I will say this. If you remember that, yes, it will be a 6.5 inch, that's including the notch. So really, you're going to have a 6.1 inch, approximately. If you ever get a house that has a front yard and backyard, would you get a smart lawnmower? I probably would. I would want to get it free, of course, but yeah. So yeah. Best app for VPN. The one I've really been using so far, and it has worked for me well, where is it right now when I need it? God, I said it on a video like a couple weeks ago. Touch VPN. Touch VPN is the one that I've been using on my smartphone, and that's so far, and it's free. There are some paid ones that I've been looking over. Nord is one of them, but yeah, it's just depending on which one. What's your opinion on the Pixel Book? Overpriced, although it's gotten some really good upgrades, of course, lately, so we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Sorry, just getting a little hot, so I wanted to put the fan on. I worried about Samsung and their smartphone sales are declining. I mean, it was to be expected, to be honest, just because of the fact that they haven't come out with anything really big or new. The S9 really wasn't that much of a difference from the S8. So yeah, they're putting all their eggs in one basket, which is the S10 and Galaxy X next year, to be honest, which could cost them. Did you hear about Apple new phones coming out with different colors? Yes, although that will only be the entry-level one. So whether they call it the they're not going to call it. I think it would be suicide to call it the iPhone 10C. The C has a negative connotation after last time, but that's effectively what it's going to be. It's going to be called the iPhone 9 though, just to save it face. And it's going to be called the iPhone 9, and that phone will be the colorful one. And the higher end iPhone XS or XL, whatever they're going to call those are going to be the ones that add gold, but that's it. It's not going to be the different colors, the blue, the red, and all that kind of stuff. Again, we saw this with the iPhone C, which was a failure by far. The iPhone SE was way better. So yeah, that's what you're going to see, the multicolor thing come back. The iPhone, yeah, not gonna say that one. Galaxy X is not going to hurt S10 sales due to the price difference. True. And the foldable phone will attract techie, thus not your average consumers. I do agree with that. I do agree that I don't think it will, but I think that like the initial sales will wait. Like, for me, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, right? Like, I'm gonna get it, of course, day one because I have a YouTube channel. But say if I did not have a YouTube channel, I probably would not buy the Galaxy X as soon as it would come out, because I would want to see what the S10 has before I would buy it. And then I'm a techie, so that could detract even the techie users. That's the difference. Does Google charge developers for uploading their apps to Google Play Store, or is that an Apple only thing? I am not sure. I do not do app development, although I have been looking into it more. But I have heard, yeah, Apple charges you like $200, something like that. I don't know if Google does any kind of charge other than the flat rate fee, which I think to sign in to Google Console, it was something like $40. But yeah. That what I was talking about is I hate their tvOS. Oh, the Roku one, or which one, or the Samsung one? Love the Note 8, wanting the Note 9, but debating on Rogue. Oh yeah, the Rogue. I'm very excited for the Asus phone. When will you get the Note 9? That I can't say. Can you use the Stylo 4 unlocked on Verizon? If it supports CDMA, LTE, and LTE, I just don't know which bands the Stylo 4 comes with. I'm not familiar with the Stylo is enough. I know it's an LG smartphone. I know it's out for like Cricket or Metro, but I'm not sure what bands are the same. I have a Note 4 on Verizon. I plan on getting the Note 9, trying to decide if to try and get the international, switch to T-Mobile. If I do, can I keep having the update with the software? Yeah, as soon as you put a T-Mobile SIM card in it, it basically makes it a T-Mobile smartphone. That was something that they changed last year with the S8. Or no, I think it technically came out on the Note 8 first, and then it came out on an update on the S8 like around October. But yeah, basically, if you put a SIM card in a Verizon smartphone, now for Samsung, for only their flagships, not on every smartphone, you basically, it changes it. It gets rid of the Verizon apps and it puts on the T-Mobile apps. That is one of the Shield's flaw. Oh yeah, the Shield itself. It has a lot of flaws. I honestly have not even used my Shield anymore. I've just used the Roku. Um, if so, will that cause any problems with apps in the long run? No, it won't cause any problems with apps in the long run. Reason I am not getting a new phone anytime soon is because Verizon blocks things in their updates. Like, I'd like to get the new S9 or the S8, but they block Foxfi. Yeah, I understand. I used to have Foxfi when I was on Verizon still. I just mean the Google console won't be able to compete if they just plan to stream games like the Shield 2 has super old titles like Lego Batman. And yeah, they really need better gaming partnerships. I mean, they don't need indies. They really need some good ones. Heck, if you can get Sony on board, just get Sony on board. Play PlayStation 1 games. Like, do something. But yeah, I don't know. They really need some console partnerships, really. So the Gear S4 is going to run Wear OS, not Tizen. That's the new rumor this week. I mean, I swear it's gone back and forth. I will follow up on that. I really feel in the next 3 weeks I'm going to find out everything about the Gear S4 to make sure I know everything. With the rumors on the Note 8, I think Note 9 maybe, Samsung is finally making the S Pen exciting again. Yes, they're finally doing that. They needed to do that for a long time. Ricky, why don't Apple make their own screens? They should invest billions of dollars and save the money in the long run. Apple doesn't want to make factories. That's honestly why. It's no secret that Apple doesn't really spend too much money compared to what they have. I mean, Samsung, I would say, probably has more asset. Well, I don't know. If you count the new Apple building that they just built, it might be different. No, I would still say they probably have more. I would say Apple obviously has the most cash out of any company right now in the market. But Samsung has more assets. Like, if you don't count cash, Samsung has the most assets. They have factories all over the world. I mean, and they have factories in so many different countries. I mean, in terms of headquarters, they have 3 in the U.S. They have the big one that makes Apple's processors, that makes their processors, and everyone else's basically is in Dallas. Then they have another one just bigger than it in Korea. Like, there's so much that goes on. And they have another one in San Jose. So, like, there are so many factories, and Samsung, no one beats them at manufacturing. Could Apple do it? Yeah, but if Apple even started to do that, like, Samsung could effectively halt Apple sales down to a crawl for about 6 months if they really wanted to. They would lose billions. That's why they would never do it. They would be stupid to do it. But if they were just like, hey, Apple, we're not making anything for you anymore. Apple, TSMC, LG, none of these companies can produce anywhere near the magnitude of Samsung. So that's why. Like, if you're going to sell, basically, if Apple wants to sell 10 million iPhones in the first month, guess what? Or even the first week or first whatever. If they want to sell it that quick, you have to go Samsung, because they're the only ones that can manufacture that. These other companies manufacture half or less than half on almost every part in terms of screen, processor, battery, RAM, for Apple Glass. I mean, again, Samsung owns the majority of Corning. So it's just Gorilla Glass, like all of these things. Yeah. When is the Galaxy Note 9 going to be released? It will be released at the end of August. The announcement is August 9th. IP vanish way better. I will check it out. Let me check that out for a VPN. Always up to check out a new VPN. The Siri Shortcuts app. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions just loaded. And here I thought we had no more questions. Whoa. I seriously cannot find where the last question was. Oh, there it is. Okay. Ricky, I bought the Samsung NU8000 just like you, but I got the 2018 version. Excellent smart TV. Awesome. That's actually way better than the one I got, to be honest, because it's actually local dimming, so it's better, brighter than mine. Awesome. Let's see. Camera on the S8 versus the S9. The S9 definitely has better low light. Does Sprint unlock boost mobile phones? My friend got a Galaxy S8 for boost, and he has Sprint. I don't think Sprint does. No, you can get it unlocked, but I don't believe Sprint does it. Where is the fingerprint scanner going to be on the Tab S4? I think it's still going to be... Wait, yeah, there was a home button, I believe, on that image. I don't remember, and I already clicked it off. But I think there was still a fingerprint scanner on the home button. Do you think when the BlackBerry Q2 will be available on Sprint? I don't know. I think Sprint might just not go with it, but we'll have to wait and see. If I get any updates from BlackBerry, I'll let you know. I'm still reviewing that phone, and the review should be coming out next week. What's up, Ricky? You recommend for an unlocked phone to use on Sprint? Again, I mean, the whole thing about unlocked phones is just always, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. It just really depends. It's usually better to get it unlocked by a third-party website than it is by that carrier, because good luck getting them to do it. But yeah. Any suggestions on an app that can separate my volume? I like split screen, Periscope, Play Music apps. I would like to control my volume apps individually. No, there have been ones like those. I actually have one like that for my computer, but I haven't had one for my phone. So I guarantee you they're out there, but I haven't tested it. What does a VPN exactly do to your phone or computer? I see that's the question they always ask you. Yeah, I've been asked this plenty of times, but mainly you get a VPN for two reasons. One, it protects you on open Wi-Fi networks. So if you ever go to a Wi-Fi network like Starbucks, if you ever go to a Wi-Fi network like McDonald's, a park Wi-Fi, a hotel Wi-Fi, basically if you have a hacker or someone that knows what they're doing, if I was across from you drinking my coffee, you would have no idea that I was hacking into your phone and seeing everything you do and looking at all your passwords and pretty much figure out everything I want to do. So that's what can happen. If you have a VPN, that blocks it way harder than it's probably going to be likely that anyone does it, because it's just too difficult to be quick. So yeah, there you go. There you go. But that's one of the VPN reasons why you get one. The second reason is if you're traveling to another country. So when I was in Europe for my honeymoon, I could not watch Netflix, or even certain parts I couldn't watch YouTube. So what I did was I turned on my VPN on my smartphone or my tablet, whatever I was watching it on, and told the VPN, hey, I want to be in the US. So the VPN basically routed me to the US so that I could watch all the US content on Netflix, on YouTube, instead of the content that was available in that country. So there you go. Let's see. Want to get that same couch as me? That's why couch. Oh, it's one of a kind. Can't get it anywhere. None of this stuff behind me you can get. Will the LCD on the new iPhone be a top seller like the Apple predicts? I think it's going to be a really good seller, but Apple people like to get the high-end one, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm glad smartphone manufacturers finally innovating new features and designs. I agree, although I really think that's going to be next year. I don't think we're going to get too much innovation this year. C, the S9 is worth the upgrade for the Note 8. Just water for the 10 seems like much different from the 8 and 9. I don't think Apple will use the same X on the new phones like they used last year. I think they're going to be calling it 10th because of the 10th anniversary. I'm curious. I'm really curious if we're going to start using Roman numerals now. If it's going to be, X1 meaning 11, or if it's going to be What are they going to do? I don't know. I think they're going to keep the X, personally, but we'll have to wait and see. Tech Rant, where are Bluetooth 5.0 headphones? I know, right? Literally, these are one of the only Bluetooth 5.0 headphones out there. We need more. Get us more. Yeah. Does my Note 8 have the ability to make awesome lock screen like the S9? Yes, it now does. If you got the update, it now does. And check out my S9 video on how to do it. DXO Mark says the phones the next few years will have 4 cameras. Why can't smartphone manufacturers try to put everything in one camera? I completely agree with you. I think it should be less cameras. I think you're adding more cameras is a way of shortcutting just having innovation. Great job, Ricky. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I think Samsung TV should Android OS. See, here's the thing about that. If you actually watch TV reviewers that actually go through all of these different OSs, they hate Android OS in terms of TVs. Apparently, it's just so much more buggy compared to Tizen. Tizen is considered the fastest one for a TV. So it's even faster than WebOS now. So yeah, I don't know which is the best. I think TV OSs have just been neglected for the most part. Do you think Chinese manufacturers will make it to US carriers one day? Probably not due to politics. I think they will. I think they're going to bypass politics eventually. Chinese manufacturers will come to the US eventually. I mean, to be fair, they've been here for years, right? You know, don't call it a comeback. Basically, ZTE and Huawei have been here for years. Xiaomi plans on doing it next year. So that's going to be a big one too. So we'll have to wait and see how it all goes. Reason I don't care much for Roku is I'm going to pay money. I better get less locked out on a Chinese box. LOL. Apple makes nice TV box, but costly locks out. Yeah, I hate the whole like signing me out thing. I hate that whole signing you out thing. It really is annoying. Do you know how much the built-in memory of the Note 9 will have? Hope 128 or not 64. I still think the entry level will have 64, but we'll have to wait and see because there is rumors that it might be 128 starting off. Questions have been weird today. Well, we always get some weird ones. I'm hoping that the Gear S4 or whatever they will call it, Galaxy Watch, comes out with 40 millimeter LTE version. Really want a smaller watch and smaller wrist. These Android watches makers cater towards guys more. Yeah, I really want both too, because my mom, my wife, would really like a smaller. I mean, they still have the Gear S2, so yeah, it would be great if they would make a smaller one. Really hope it is. Siri shortcuts app look is out in beta. Looks very interesting. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions. This is the second time I read that question. A whole bunch of questions just loaded. Samsung, please bring Quick Charge 4.0. Jesus Christ, yeah, I know, right? How is the heat going out there in Cali? I live in the valley, man. So it's one of the hottest parts of LA. It's been really hot. It's like one of the main reasons why I want to move. I so want to move. I'm still in the Los Angeles area, but just south where it's cooler, and yeah, I just hopefully will move by next year. Your thoughts on the OnePlus providing 3 years of Android updates and latest conferences? Sounds great. I won't have the phone that long, but I love companies providing updates as long as they repair the issues that updates cause. I actually won a $500 Samsung gift certificate on Samsung Pay app. Wow, that's crazy. That's awesome. Congratulations. It was my first time trying to win something in a while. That's awesome. LG is Samsung's jealous little sister. Ricky, do you know what security patch the Unlock Note 8 is on? I'm using T-Mobile and I'm still on main security patch update. Hey man, we were on the like freaking March security patch update and finally got one in June. So with the S9. So yeah, the unlocked versions suck for updates, which is stupid. Rigsby needs better developers. Been pushed back way too many times. Yeah, if only I could get better developers. Do VPNs make uploading and downloading slower? Yes, they do. They do make it slower, but it's more of a concern of safety versus faster or anything like that. Any free VPN you trust? Like I said, right now I'm using Touch VPN, which is a free one. Samsung S10, I'm guessing Plus approach, or the notch on the iPhone X your preference. I hate the notch. So yeah, easily the S9 approach, or more than likely I like the Oppo X or the Vivo Nex S, I think it's called. Those approaches even better. I have. Oh, will the sound assistant app change your volume on different ones? Use that. I have a fever and only cures Rigsby and Bluetooth 5.0 headphones. Well, they're coming. Did you know you can transfer up to $9,000 per 24 on Google Pay? No, I did not. I did not know that 9,000 was the limit. Hey Ricky, I got an update for June. I downloaded it and it did something like no target had the Android guy and it boot looped. What? But it won't update again and it's still on the main security patch. That sounds sucky. I'm not sure what really happened there. I would check out the Samsung Plus app and see if there's anything going wrong with it and have a Samsung technician take a look at it. It's the Samsung Plus app. Why are mobile payments not taking off in the US? People just don't trust them as much in the US, to be honest. It's just the culture of not trusting certain things. Like phones, we have OnePlus right now value. So there are any TV companies which are value for the money. I mean, take your pick. You have TCL, Toshiba. I always thought was actually a pretty good one for the quality you get. But yeah, TCL is definitely a big one. Vizio is definitely a big one. So those are the price-conscious ones. When is Google and Amazon feud going to be over? Not for a while. Too much money. Are you going to review the Asus ROG phone? I'm going to try. Just depends on the funds I have, man. To be honest, it's gonna with all these different ones. Every time more phones come out, if I don't get the partnership, like I've tried emailing Asus repeatedly, we'll see what happens. But yeah. What color is your Note 9? Who says I have a Note 9? I don't know what you're talking about. Nah, Android has the best TV boxes. Everything is free. Free mod, Netflix, Kodi, mod, Spotify. No need to pay. Yeah, look, I agree with that. Hey, how have you been, Toriel? Move to San Diego. We can be my neighbor. San Diego is too expensive from what I hear. But yeah, well, the market's going crazy now anyway. Coming from a realtor's perspective, man, that market is just climbing. It's gonna drop though. It's gonna. My guess is we're gonna see a crash next year. But we'll have to wait and see. How often do security patches come in on AT&T, and are they typically routine, like every 6 months or something? They're supposed to be every month, but you get them every 3 to 6 months on average. Yeah, for carriers or any phone really. Why, except for Pixels and OnePlus. Why did Amazon decide not to sell Google products? They sell other competitors. They sell Google phones, but not other Google products. It's a real difficult conversation with that. I mean, they are being vicious with each other. Because, like, look, the Amazon Echo Show, it had YouTube. Google was like, yeah, we're going to come out with our own smart displays. Yoink. And took it away. They're very petty. They have a lot of money, and they're doing whatever they want. That's it. All right, guys. I think we're gonna call that a show, though. Overall, some stuff coming out this week. We have a really cool thing coming from Pioneer this week with an awesome deck with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Gonna have lots of videos on that coming soon. We'll also have the Honor 10 review and a camera comparison between that, the BlackBerry Key 2, the OnePlus 6, and a lot of other things coming out this week. So stay tuned. Definitely keep watching all the content. Make sure you give a like, thumbs up before you head out. And yeah, guys, thank you as always for watching. I really do appreciate it. This always has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.